Hello, all you beautiful enlightened people. Welcome back. Yes, we're back with more full moon videos. And this week, to talk about our full moon on the 1st of May, the flower moon. Also known by the Northern Americans as the seed moon. It is the moon where we start preparing agriculture and the fields and the crops for the year to come. Is that spring moon where everything is ready, full of life and fire to bloom. And so we take advantage of that natural energy and magnetism of the earth to lay our eggs, per se. So, as usual, every year, this moon comes with this very same energy, this eruptive volcanic energy. It's a sort of, in a way, it's a sort of a new year vibe. So you know that the year begins on the 21st of March with the spring equinox and the coming of spring. And so this moon happens a little bit after this, a month, give or take, after we settle on the new energies of spring. We've had some wind, we've had some rain, we've had some sun, we've had some stormy, cloudy days, but now it gets a bit more, you get more in control of dealing with this environment and this weather, and dealing with that. We are more settled into this new stage. We have fully embraced spring, and we are sure that winter is out. The cave days are out. The keeping ourselves in the dark are out in any way, shape, or form, whether it be physical, emotional, or intellectual. So I like to call this moon a sort of New Year vibe, because it's when we really start to feel the heat of the sun and the power of the sun and really say, I'm going to go and do that. I'm going to set my goals, or I'm going to sharpen my strategies in a way. This would be the key concept for me, the sharpen of the strategies. It's that beautiful Taurus energy that allows us that consolidation and that grounding and that earthing feeling of, I'm in control no matter what I want to do. How will I get to it? That is the strategy that I will elaborate. So this one particular moon comes with a few key aspects that I'm going to talk about. But never forget that full moons are about expansion. They're all about doing. They're all about masculine energy, proactive energy, action, really action. New moons are more about the opposite, to be passive, to be quiet, to be feminine, to be more inwards than outwards. So always keep that in mind when these energies come, so that you can take that to your advantage and to your benefit. In particular, being a Sun and Taurus moon, with the moon being in Scorpio, it will allow you, a full moon in Scorpio always allows you to not be overthrown by your own emotions. And this is the first key point. Every year you go through this. Every year is like, man, I wish I could feel like this all year long. Especially me. I'm a Taurus rising, so I feel this very, very strongly. When this time comes, I'm like, woo, I can take everything, let's go. But the reason why is this, is Moon is in Scorpio, so therefore, with the grounding effect and the stable structural strength that Taurus provides, you don't feel that the emotions are overtaking. You feel that, okay, I am a vessel of them. They come through, and I feel very scared right now, or I feel very anxious, or I'm literally having a panic attack. But this isn't mine. It just vessels through me. This situation triggered this emotion, and it will just vessel through me. And the groundedness of Taurus allows your body to remain calm and steady while this goes through. Take this lesson for the rest of the year, because when we are in control of our emotions, we become absolute Buddhas. And in truth, life really occurs in that moment, in that serendipity. So this is the first key factor of this moon that I love so much. So let's say you have something that it's sort of a Herculean task for you. It's something that you want to take, you want to chase, but for some reason it's so important to you, it's so cherished for you, that you feel that you can't do it because you're not enough, because you don't have resources, because you don't have support, because it's not the right time, because of whatever the fuck you say, whatever the hell we tell ourselves. this is the moon where we actually reverse, like it's a sort of reverse card where we tell ourselves that no, despite the fact that I'm afraid, despite the fact that I'm anxious, despite the fact that I have all the logical reasons that is the wrong timing or I'm not the person to do it, I still want to do it out of sheer will. Simple as that. And whatever feelings that come through, I shall let them let them run their course through me, and I will carry on. It's a very keep calm and carry on sort of state if you think about it. Because England is Taurus after all. I mean, I guess that's why I feel that mostly while being here. Second thing I want to talk about this moon is this is the second stage of water. So within the calendar year, the first stage of water would be Cancer in December. And then the second stage of water is now, May. And then the third stage of water would be September, with the moon in Pisces, with the full moon in Pisces. So the first water is all about becoming aware that you have emotions. So as you know, the zodiac is basically a sort of traveling or a pattern of human evolution. And in that sense, the first water, Cancer, is just about becoming aware of emotions. And Cancer people will feel this a lot and know this a lot. You're not really the emotion. You're just vibing and attuning to whatever or whoever is in front of you and vibing with that emotion. And because of that, you become that emotion. I remember having this story with a couple of friends. So imagine you're sitting with a friend in a cafe, and I'm saying that I love flat whites because it's the perfect dosage of coffee and milk, and it's not too much milk, and you can still feel the bitterness of the coffee and that kick. And they're like, and they're having a latte, but despite, yes, I love flat whites. And then a third party comes in, a third friend, and they have a latte, and they go on about how much they love a latte. And eventually, the friend that said they love the flat white says, yes, lattes are the best, they're my favorite. And you're like, huh? What the hell are you talking about? You just completely committed to flat whites and now suddenly you're a latte person. What is going on? Because you cannot judge an attitude like this. Cancer goes with the tide because it's just becoming aware of emotion. So what Cancer is actually doing in the setting of 3 people in the coffee shop is attuning to the excitement. It's attuning to the fervor of saying, yes, I love this so much, and that's it. Not necessarily the concept, which might be tricky to those around them, and even many times for them themselves. So Cancer does not really know which emotion is what. They just vessel the emotions and are able to vessel a lot. So if you want someone to do a job of an actor, for example, Cancer people, in whichever shape or form, whether it be Cancer on the 5th, a sun in Cancer on the 6th, a sun in Cancer on the 10th, a Cancer rising, these people can vessel so much emotion in quantity. It's like a barrel of emotions in there. And that is the meaning of being a Cancer, is to be able to grasp all this, but it also has to be flushed. It also has to be used. So when those moons happen in December, and we go through Christmas and family gatherings and everything is uber emotional, now you get why. When we get to the second stage of water in Scorpio, we will learn and discern the power of different emotions. We will discern the power of separating emotions and understand that every emotion has a sort of a pattern. And within that pattern, you can go back and forth with emotions. So you understand that, oh, this person is angry right now, and I completely understand that this eventually will change. Or other moments, if we had not experienced that type of anger, we will not know how to deal with that, and we will do the Scorpio thing, which is just to walk away and go back to the cave. Or fight and go face it front in a way. So that would be the second stage of water, which is the stage that we're living right now. Scorpio allows you to not only vessel emotions in the same quantity as Cancer, because that lesson has already been learned in December, and every year we learn more. But Scorpio allows you to understand that every emotion comes from a cause and an effect, and every single emotion on planet Earth has a pattern. Whether you choose to engage with that or not is up to you. So, what I mean to say with this second point on this moon is pick your battles. Choose your battles. because Scorpio is all wise when it comes to feelings, when it comes to emotions, when it comes to understand that someone is exaggerating or imploding by not feeling at all and succumbing their fears or their emotions. Scorpio comes and decides which battles I can pick and which things I can choose. Do I need to escalate the situation, or do I need to de-escalate the situation? Do I need to ignore, or do I need to engage? These would be the questions that you are asking yourself. And the way to make a decision on those quests, let's say on those situations, would be, will this transform me? Because Scorpio is all about transformation and transmutation, to mute yourself to a higher state, a second state, from liquid to solid to gas, for example, like a cycle of water. And here, the way to make that choice would be, will this situation promote the transformation that I desire? It is not so much what you want. Want is right now, like, want is very primal, it's very Aries, it's very instinctive. Desire is different, comes from within. It's subtler. Desire is subtler. Desire awakens your senses. The primal need for anything that comes from instinct just awakens a one sense, or one particular feeling, a particular sensation, like I'm hungry, I want to eat. It's not awakening all of your senses. It's not vibrating to the core of your identity, because that's what happens when senses get triggered. That's what happens in Taurus. When you realize that when something is so stimulating for you, things that you see, you can taste, you can feel, you can hear, you can everything, that awakens the development of your identity and your personality. So you go after it. I want to see that movie. I want to read that book. I want to buy those clothes. I want to try this hobby. I want to go for this particular kind of exercise. That is a desire, not, oh, I need to work out. That is primal. So with Scorpio, the decision of, should I engage, should I not, should I escalate, should I de-escalate, should I ignore, should I intercept this conversation, this debate, it all comes down to, will this battle and me being involved in this, will it promote the transformation I require to align this with, will it get me closer to my desires and to getting what I want? In a way, it's very self-fulfilling. It's very self-fulfilling. Scorpio understands that very well. If you don't self-fulfill, if you don't create optimal situations for yourself, you're never going to be of use to anyone around you. Which is, for some reason, something we don't understand in our society, is it? Oh no, others first, then you. No, it's actually you first, and then others. Otherwise, if you're already dead and rumbling on the floor, how the hell are you going to help anyone? With what mental acuity, with what common sense, with what serenity and peace can you address other people's problems? You can't. So, in a nutshell, pick your battles towards your desires and your optimal evolution. So now on to our third part, our aspects. And then I'll move on to what big changes are happening in the sky, because there's a lot of planets ingressing signs. So in that sense, we'll go to there later. So the first precise aspect would be Chiron Conjunct Mercury, which is happening in Aries. Oh my God, which is wonderful. Aries has got that sort of playful, innocent, spontaneous, ingenue energy that they just blab out whatever they need, like kids do, which is something we should never forget. I mean, we just got out of April, so we're still getting out of April. I mean, today's the 1st. So it's basically that energy that allows so much healing, because it's abrupt and innocent. Particularly when you conjunct Chiron to Mercury. So Mercury is our mind and your speech and your communication, and Chiron is everyone's deep wound. A wound that will never heal, you will heal it in stages, you will heal it in cycles, it will form certain patterns, but that wound is not supposed to heal. As you keep trying to heal it, you discover ways of healing it, so you'll become a master in how to heal that on others. That is the mythology of Chiron, the centaur, and that is the hero's journey that you carry yourself throughout your life. So minding that this conjunction is happening in Aries, actually, it will be a great time with this moon to address childhood wounds, because what's childhood if not Aries? And the conjunction allows you to verbalize things that you probably have never said before. If you feel like it, do it. If you don't feel like you're ready to speak about it, write. If you don't feel like you're ready to talk to others and complete the cycle of healing, speak to a mirror. Do a video on yourself like I'm doing right now. And then eventually take it to someone. When I think there is a saying about this, I don't recall now, but the last stage of human experience is when we actually share things with others. So if we don't feel safe, we will of course share that with ourselves by writing, by talking to the mirror, by doing a video to ourselves. But eventually when we take that experience outwards and share it with another human, seeking that empathy, seeking that understanding, we come full cycle and we see, oh, wait, actually I'm not the only one. Everyone's feeling the same. So if you want to take a step towards healing a childhood trauma or a memory or something you are ashamed of, this would be the perfect moment to do it. It will eventually happen. That's what precise aspects do on moons. Mind again that this moon is happening on the 1st of May at 6:22 p.m. GMT, so Dublin, London, Lisbon, Johannesburg. And yeah, that is a very, very interesting aspect to happen here, where we feel so grounded and so strengthened by the ability to shape emotions that Scorpio has. And all this like allows a perfect scenario to deal with childhood traumas. Again, never judge your progress. Never, never, never judge that progress. If you're not on a stage where it's time to take it to a friend, or even the camera, or even the mirror, just writing about it is enough. Just writing about it is enough. This happened this way, if you want to describe, and that's what feels right. Or it made me feel this way, if that's what feels right. But make sure you use this energy, because once the Eris cycle is begun, when you begin that cycle, Aries is very, very powerful when it believes in itself, in oneself. Aries can do anything. Look at children. Like, as adults, we look at a problem as like, oh, logic comes in. Not enough money, not enough time, not enough resources. I don't have the team. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have the body. I don't have the brains. I don't have the beauty. I don't have the whatever. And then we don't do anything. We don't even try. Kids do not consider those things. They consider the trying. Look, a pool looks yummy. Can I dive? There's not even a can I dive. Like, boof, it's already like, no, John, you just ate. Your digestion will stop. Like, he doesn't give a fuck. He's already inside the pool. That is the power of tryout that Aries knows. When a conjunction like this happens, the best one can do is go back onto the past, see where you were stopped to do something, see where you were prevented to do something, look back, see that whoever was around you wasn't right, or it doesn't matter, or understand why they were acting that way, and see that now as an adult, many things in your life might be stopped because that moment happened. But that moment is there, and now you are you, and you don't have to be that person. But the trauma, the emotion, the feeling, the memory, the constriction that your body goes through just by remembering that moment is what stops you from moving ahead. So it needs to be cleansed, it needs to be vesseled, it needs to be felt. Childhood trauma healing, as they say in the spiritual world, taking care of your inner child, is very much about going into the past and allowing yourself to feel. Just physically, bodily allowing yourself to feel. And there's a million people doing this kind of work out there right now. I've seen so much of this on Instagram and stuff for years now. It's somatic work is beautiful to do this sort of thing. The shakers, as they used to say. But it is when emotion comes out of our bodies that has been trapped for so long. It's emotion that's we've been keep like layering and layering and layering, and when it comes all at once, of course we vibrate, of course we release. It's an exorcism of emotions in a way. So if you're brave enough to go through that cycle right now, I highly, highly, highly recommend you do, because it is beautiful and it can open so many doors for you. It can open so many I cans in your life. Like, I can do this, I can go there, I can be this. And it's just so freeing. Hi, puppy. um, and then there's also a little bit of a helpful, just a puppy to prove that be innocent, be spontaneous, anywhere and everywhere. Um, Also, the fact that Mars, Saturn, and Neptune are also in Aries helps feel supported in all this fire and all this innocence, which is very different than victimhood. Okay, um, when we are children, we are always, always, always victims of our circumstances. Because if we rebel against a system, a teacher, a parent, our survival, our shelter, our food, our sleep will be challenged, will be taken probably. So we never question systems as kids. We have a very strong unconscious system. It's very broad. Remember that, you know that thing about the iceberg, that you see a little bit of the iceberg and everything under is the unconscious mind. Children are very, very powered by Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Like, those are working. Like, all your past lives are there to, okay, we got you. You know nothing about this world, about if the iron burns or the fire burns, whatever, but we're here to support you. There's an instinctive and unconscious compass with children. Therefore, they know they can't rebel against every single thing, even if they want to throw a tantrum, and even if they know they're right. And honestly, most of the times kids are right and parents are wrong, in my point of view. But with that, um, a lot of trauma is built. Uh, and that's also how we evolve. We are a species, and all our planet is developed from darkness to light. Our seeds are born from darkness. A baby is born from darkness in the womb. The process of gaining awareness is a process of darkness. I do not know this, and suddenly I know. A process of learning, a process of making friendships. All of things that mature on planet Earth are a passage from darkness to light. And with this, it is no surprise that obviously we go through childhood trauma precisely so that we create some darkness, and we are able to cross that rainbow bridge from that darkness into the light. And we can only do that as adults. And the process can be serene, can be pleasurable, and can be beautiful, and can be forgiving. You don't have to hold on to whatever was done to you by whoever did it to you, or circumstances. Sometimes it's not just people. Sometimes it's a societal boundary, a law, a rule, whatever. So with this, know that Mars, Saturn, and Neptune are there to support and give you that fiery courage to say, yeah, I went through this. I was indeed a victim as a child, because it's kind of how it goes. But I do not have to act based on that. But you can only get there if you really release the emotions that are stuck inside. With this conjunction, Chiron Mercury, it says, the way to release the emotions is through Mercury. And Mercury talks, Mercury writes, Mercury elaborates speech. That's it. That's the gateway. On this moon, that is the gateway. On a different moon, it's another gateway. Another aspect would be Pluto quincunxing Mars, which allows, quincunxes are all about luck, and there's a flow to it. It's the number 5. It's 50 degrees, so it allows change, it allows flow, it allows transition. So therefore, both planets are about the same. One on a more primal state, one on a more, I don't like the word elevated, because everything and anything can be elevated, but let's say matured state. So both planets are about desire. And being placed in this moon just allows us to be more aligned with our desires. Like, it's very easy for us to understand what we want. Again, I say this so many times in these videos. I would love to know if people actually do it, because I do it for myself. And I keep that score. But when I say, hey, take notes of your wants right now, because it's really fucking powerful. Like, when you go then through, like, for example, in 2 weeks, we're going to be in the middle of May, and we're going to go through another full moon, and that full moon is going to be in freaking Cancer Capricorn. We're not going to understand what we want. It's Cancer. No one knows what they want in Cancer. Or when you go through like to December and you have a full moon in Cancer instead of a new moon in Cancer that you're going to have now, you're not going to know what you want. You're going to deal with other things. So I'd love to know if people actually do this and take this advice, because it's so powerful. I really wish people would, because it's really, really powerful. Because if you go back to those like full moon, new moon diaries, you'll see that, oh, right, in May I wanted this, and now in June, the openings are coming. The openings can be a phone call, a job interview, a friend that said that they're going to do it with you, or a course that you wanted to do is now open, anything. So, yeah, let me know in the comment section. I really, really would love to know if this advice stays just on YouTube or it goes beyond in the world. Because Quincunxing Mars and Pluto really brings that acute awareness of the things you deeply, truly desire. It's not just, I want some strawberries right now. Puppy! It's not just, I want some strawberries right now. It's, I want things that absolutely align with who I am. And those are the only things we ever need to chase in life, honestly. Another key aspect will be a sextile in between Venus, our Aphrodite, and Cronus, Saturn. I say this in my classes. I think the only planet that can take down Saturn is actually Venus. The only way to dissolve boundaries is with gentleness. And Aphrodite, I think it would be the only goddess that probably, she's not even a sister or anything to the other gods in Greek mythology, right? She's just born out of the waters from Uranus testicles, Uranus balls. So what happens is she's an in-between Titan and daughter of Tethys, the ocean, right? So she's a little bit higher than all the other gods. Why would their offspring would be able to take Cronus? I don't know. I think if it was Aphrodite by herself, she could have just gently given an apple to Cronus and the war would cease then and there, like she did with Troy. Anyway, going a bit off track here, but I've always wanted to share that. I believe Venus is the only planet that can take down Saturn. Why? Because it is the only way, through our own perception of reality, our senses, and chasing the things that we like, out of sheer pleasure, that we can dissolve the hard limits that Saturn imposes. Saturn says, you can't do that because that's not womanly. You can't do that because that's not manly. You can't speak so loud because it's not accepted here. You can't speak so low because it's not accepted here. So either way, you're going to be wrong with Saturn in a different part of the world, right? So you're riding a motorcycle in India with no helmet. That's fine. You're riding a motorcycle with no helmet in London. You're going to be fine. So wherever you do, Saturn is always there to tell you that you're wrong. That's my point. And when you chase down things that you want to do that have a lot of limitations and a lot of issues and a lot of boundaries and consequences, let's put it that way, when you do it from a Venusian point, you always find ways to go in the tiny intervals of invisibility somehow. And eventually you always find a way through the things you want to do, if that makes sense. Because I believe it's because you're so immersed in the process of pleasure and the enjoyment of it, that your frequency is so relaxed that Saturn is a dense frequency many times. Many times, it's not always. When you persist to do something, when you commit to do something and you persist to it, that's when Saturn's frequency actually relaxes. When it's a boundary or a law, a rule made out of fear, that's where the frequency intensifies. When you do something that your consciousness tells you, oh, I can't do this, it's not right, no, I can't ride the bicycle here, I can't eat this right now because whatever reason, the frequency you're emanating is actually fear of consequence. But when you're in a Venusian, absolutely guided by Aphrodite process, you enjoy it so much that your inner core actually slows down and you're attuned with the greatest force of Mother of Earth, which is nature. Does nothing out of effort. Everything is pleasure, everything is ease. So, and that way you slowly start to break down the rocks. There is this saying in Portuguese that is slow water and hard stones. Uh, how do you fucking translate this? Like, slowed down water and a hard stone will pass so many times it shall crack. It doesn't sound so good, does it? I bet that there's a million other languages that had the same saying. But basically it means that a river stream might be slow, but its consistency will degrade, will erode the stone. That to me is the principle of Venus taking down structures and taking down laws. So imagine you have a situation at work, for example, or school, where you have a very strict teacher, a very strict manager, a very strict boss that says that things have to be done that way, but they don't really remember how they used to do it when they were in your shoes. Like, it's so far gone now, years or months probably. But you have an idea to implement a new system to do things faster, quicker, more effectively, and pleasurably. And because the structure is so hard, you can't just defy it. You're going to get in trouble. You're going to lose the promotion or lose the vote or whatever. So if you just start doing it by yourself and provide the results in a calm, non-worried way about the consequence, that would be a Venusian process. What I mean by this is, don't think that your teacher, your boss, will punish you for it. Don't think that that barrier is there. Focus on the attempt. Focus on the process. Focus on how easy it could become, because that is the energy you will feel on this moon. So take advantage of it and use it. Venus being sextiling Saturn, there's an astrologer, I don't remember her name, she has a brilliant way to explain aspects. She puts people like in a massive, like King Arthur sort of round table. If you're in an opposition, you're like directly in fight with someone. If you're a square, like the person is there, so it kind of hurts your neck to talk to them. But if a person is sextiling you, they're right next to you. They're right next to you. They're your buddy. They're your accomplice. Whee! And so what happens is you get this sort of connection and this sort of comprehension amongst yourselves. And that is the vibe that is in between Venus and Saturn. Venus is the breaker of Saturn, I say, and now more easier than ever, because in this particular moon, they're going to be sitting next to each other on the round table. So you have a perfect chance to implement all those things you want to do that would actually benefit you and those around you in a way that you can break down simple structures. And it is a beautiful thing to do, because Saturn fears evolution in a way. He wants progress, he wants results, and our society, our capitalistic society, is built around that. But he's very fearful. He's very risk-based. Everything needs to be assessed risk-wise. Like, if there's too much risk, I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to try. But trying sometimes provides miracles and surprises. We need to be open to that. And hence, beautiful Venus comes through, walking in from the waters, and says, "Oh, hey, I've been doing this for a week, and it saves my time. Like, I do this in 50%, I do it in half the time, and so I can provide more reports in less time, and I have more time to do other things that are more important." And they're like, "Oh, yay! We're gonna implement Enid's new system now. Hooray to Enid, because she has a new system." In any way, shape, or form. It can work with your roommates, with your family rules inside the house. It applies for every single thing. Again, I won't give detail into houses because then it depends on where you are in the world. And that would be the last aspect. We have a very core, simple moon in that sense, just 3 tiny aspects. So, in summary, it is a very non-dense moon when it comes to precise aspects. It's easy breezy, which means when you have a full moon, a new moon with only 3 precise aspects, not counting the angles, obviously, it just means that it's a recipe for success in a way. It's like the sky really wants this to go through. Like, this is the moment for mankind to upgrade these 3 things. And once again, what are they? Chiron Conjunct Mercury. The way out of your childhood trauma is speaking about it. Elaborate the idea and vessel it through your mouth, through your speech, through your communication. A communication maybe in paper, in front of a mirror, in front of a camera, or in front of a friend, better yet. If you're not ready, that's okay. Next time you'll be. You'll be supported by Aries because there's 3 other planets, Mars, Saturn, and Neptune in here. Second point was the fact that Mars is quincunxing Pluto. Both planets are about desire, one more primal, one more matured. Therefore, you will know the things you want, note them down, because it is amazing in the future when this aspect comes again, or when a moment to act Aries-like, because Mars is in Aries, or Aquarius-like, because Pluto is in Aquarius. When those moments come, for example, in August, you're going to have the moon in Aquarius, the full moon in Aquarius. You're going to use the things you want now to be done then, because that's how the sky works. I'm just reading it down. But so take note of the things you want now, because it will be so clear. It will be so crystal clear right now. And third and last, the sextile between Venus and Saturn. Make sure to break down the barriers of Saturn, whether they are rules, laws, protocols. Make sure to bring your input and your perspective on life. Take even inspiration from how you deal with things in your daily. This is deeply personal, okay? It's like a very personal, interchangeable concept. Is how you see it could be done is the benefit to the structure and those around you. And this is the moment to dissolve a structure, to create new rules, because the communication with Saturn right now is that of an accomplice, is right next to you. It's an ally. So take advantage of that. This is the moment to create rules, and I'm actually remembering a few things that I have to take care of. I've been waiting for 2 months because something in me was telling me, this is not the time, this is too soon. But I know exactly what I want to do, and I have really clear ideas of things that I want to implement, and now I will. And that would be the 3 key aspects of this moon. Outside of our moon, 27th of April, Uranus enters Gemini. We have not had a change of Uranus since December, November 2019. It was pre-pandemic. So Uranus in Taurus brings agriculture and money in a nutshell. I'm not going to delve too much into this. That's why we saw so much crypto. That's why we saw so many agricultural reforms, a lot more organic stuff in the supermarket shelves, a lot more organic produce in coffee shops, restaurants, whatever. Like, there was a boom in agriculture. There was also mankind migrations that led to more agriculture because we want more products now. I remember in 2018, blueberries were expensive, quote unquote, and now for £2 you get blueberries. For €1.50 in Portugal, you get like 250 grams of blueberries, and this was not at all the case. I remember still paying €5 for a full pack of blueberries and trying to make a crop for myself. It just wouldn't work because Portugal does not have good weather for blueberries, at least, or maybe I was just shit, I don't know. But I couldn't do it. And now you can get blueberries for sometimes £1. It's crazy. So Taurus brought a lot of this agricultural and money-making revolution. Again, remember what happened in between 2019 and now 26. We started seeing very different YouTube ads to do things that we were not doing before. Every single YouTube ad for the last 6 years was about, 7 years, was about doing a webinar, buying a course that would entail a certain set of skills that would kickstart you on a different new career that would start as a side hustle, and then we would become a millionaire after it. Who has not heard this? Come on. It's literally everything that's on YouTube. So this accessibility of money has been brought by Uranus in Taurus. But that is not the case now. So TikTok was also born, by the way. Like, maybe not born, but brought in. And because I want to glue the two, Uranus in Gemini has happened once before, obviously. I always like to look back to see the future, like a historian, but in this case, an astrological historian. So Uranus was in Gemini in two key moments of history that I would like to bring forward, because it's similar to some things we're seeing now in the world. The first was the French Revolution, taking down the monarchy and allowing France to become a democracy, a republic. And also in the United States of America, when you have the second war for the second rebellion, I don't know, I think it's called Second Uprising, I'm not sure. Somebody can write that on the comments below. I also love to learn these things. When it's what you see in Outlander. If anybody likes Outlander, season 8 is all about this. So it's when you have a second uprising against the British crown, and they say, we don't just want to be independent, we want to be fully separated from you. So there's a sort of civil war between the North and the South, the loyalists and the whatever. Which means, and this was what I channeled through my guides and what I was told, these two countries are key figures of what we're going to witness in the next 8 years with Uranus and Gemini. And I'm going to leave this sentence as is, because this is all I channeled, for you to interpret or feel however you wish to feel it. And please let me know what you feel and think about this if you wish in the comments below. Let us all exchange our ideas. So the guides told, yeah, because of these were the key events and the key most powerful, like iconic events of Uranus and Gemini back then, even though it was two completely different times, because this didn't happen at the same time. These two countries will again incur on that same cycle, because everything is a pattern. Therefore, we will see that the world will keep up with these two countries, whichever decisions they make towards whatever's going on around us now. Gemini is all about sharing. Gemini is the third sign of the zodiac, is when we develop speech, is the first sign of Mercury. So think about again that Chiron Mercury situation. And it's the first sign where you understand that there is no point in reaching ideas or having something develop in here in your consciousness if you don't breathe it out, if you don't do a creation out of it. And that creation can just be your speech. That is our power as humans. That is our power. That is our creation. That's why the sun inhabits us. That's why our planets rotate around the sun. So when Uranus is in Gemini, you start networking like hell. So when people have a lot of planets on the third house, I always say this in my sessions, in my appointments, since the beginning of my career. I love this metaphor. So imagine that someone has a Mars or Jupiter in the third house this year. I always say, okay, you're going to be a hotel this year. You know those rotating doors in hotels? You're the reception. You're going to do so much networking, because a lot of people will come through the hotel. And what do they do in the hotel? A myriad of different things. Maybe they want to go to the rooftop bar. Maybe they have a booking in the spa. Maybe they just want to go to the bar and wait for someone. Maybe they have a reservation at the hotel. Maybe they have a reservation at the restaurant of the hotel. Maybe they just want to be guided to a room where there's a lecture going on. A million things can happen in a hotel. So when you're the receptionist of the hotel, and those revolving doors are turning around, a lot of people come through in and out. And you're, as the concierge, you're the one guiding them through different places. In this case, the hotel is your life. And these people come, and you either welcome them and say, damn, I was looking for someone in this field. Oh, hey, I'm doing this in here, I'm doing this in there. And all this will become so beautiful, because we have never lived, since the earth was created, we have never lived in an age of mankind where Uranus was in Gemini, where this technological Uranus development and this Gemini force of sharing and bonding and friendship was here, with internet and social media. This has never come to be. What a time to be alive. This is incredible. We are more connected than ever. And we have felt disconnection after COVID. We have learned to be inside the cave that is our home. Homes have become a little bit of caves now. We've lost some habits. We gained others, obviously. But Uranus and Gemini pushes people into your life. New people, old people, people that you need, people that you are not expecting, but they are remarkable and amazing. And this with social media on top of that. You can meet them now and they live in Nepal, but you're still in touch, which has always been true. You can write letters, you can whatever, but now it's way faster, way faster. So I'm really excited to see the things that will come. I think that the world will become more united in different idealisms and in different groups and idea gatherings. How do I phrase this? Like groups that have the same idea and want to move forward towards creating something. I think it will be easier now to find your allies and find your like-minded people, because Uranus and Gemini is really pushing that forward. It's like it was in Taurus. We created foundations. We created a very solidified foundation, and now bring in the people, bring in the community. One thing that I know for sure it will happen, when Uranus was in Aries, and even in Pisces, and even in Aquarius and Capricorn, we witnessed people migrating from the countryside to the cities all over the world in different stages. Okay, there are still, those migrations are still happening from village to city life, and it's a very special thing, isn't it? It's like people move to the city for better opportunities, for better incomes, for better salaries. We have witnessed that a lot in the 70s, 80s, 90s. But now we witnessed with Uranus and Taurus the opposite. COVID allowed many people to work from home and move to the countryside and just come to the office once a week, for example. I have a myriad of friends that actually did that. Went back home after coming to the capital in Lisbon, Portugal, to study. And then after uni, they got a job in Lisbon because, you know, that's where the opportunities are. And then they hate themselves because they're paying 2/3 of their salary in rent and blah, 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 the usual thing. And suddenly, COVID allows you to go back home and have 10 cats and a farm while still doing 9 to 5, but having a quality of life. Moreover, and furthermore, many people left the city life to start a farm. So the rural exodus that once happened is now the urban exodus. So people leaving the cities forever to say, I never want to do cities again. I follow so many people on YouTube that have done this and they've started their farms in the countryside. They bought a place in Hungary, they bought a place in Spain. Those places got generated mostly 7 years ago, and some of them 50 years ago, 20 years ago. There's a bunch of communities out there, everywhere in the world. But now, with Uranus and Gemini, those communities will be populated. I am very sure of this. A family that started or a couple that started that farm went through hell to make things, come from the ground, whether it be shelters or walls or chicken cages and whatever they did. They went through fighting the weather and learning the way of the land, which is really, really resilient and really, really hard sometimes, and really, really blissful as well. Now they will see that we are better off if we have more people helping us out. Because if a storm comes and takes out the dam that we built in 3 months, we can rebuild that dam maybe in a month with 10 more people. And it's not like the communities from the 50s and 40s. We have internet now. So you can do a rural life and still be connected and still be surrounded by people and still feel connection with the city. So this would be my vote. This would be my provision, that Uranus and Gemini will bring communities to these farms through volunteering work, through paid work, whatever. Many things will come out of this as well. because that's what Gemini does. It brings people together. It brings people together in sharing. But the end result of Gemini is to develop joy, because joy is the way of living. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so happy to be back. And this year I want to do some upgrades in the videos that I provide for you guys. I was away for maybe a year and a half. I really needed a break from social media and from the whole chasing the weekly deadlines. But I needed a maybe because I needed a reconnection with astrology and see how she was communicating with me and how I wanted to convey my message. And I'm much happier with what I'm doing now. It came to a robotic sense of doing videos, and that was not authentic enough for me to be providing for you guys. So know that we are back with our full moon and new moon videos, and also taking things to the next level. Maybe I would like to share some documents and some PDFs so that I talk about these diaries and this like moon calendars, but maybe we can do it together, because especially now with Uranus and Gemini, this is what it's all about. It's bringing the community and sharing the moment and bringing up that joy. And maybe even this year do an in-person meeting, because once again, that's what the sky is asking us to do. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I'll see you on the next one. But until then, stay light and stay golden.